I got two cats that both went on my lap at the same time. We'll see what happens here. This is Roger. He's an old cat. The one coming behind him is named Fluff. And Fluff's the youngest, and Fluff I don't think was fixed. I think he's a Tom, and he gets pretty sassy. But anyway, Roger knows he's safe when I'm here. Well, when I was telling that story, I think I gave the wrong impression. It was Violet that suddenly said enough. She'd heard enough about Wedge, and that's kind of was surprising that she said that so quickly, and so Elaine and Lance were both kind of looking at her, and she said, by way of explanation, she said, I can see he hasn't changed at all. 50 years later, he hasn't changed. He's gotten older and more so. And that's all she cared to say at the time. So anyway, that was Violet. But Elaine changed the conversation quickly and smoothly. She said, Morgan, tell me about Morgan, please. Well, Lance said, my Morgan, she's my soulmate. She's my queen. Morgan, you want to know? She came all the way from San Diego to be with me, and she's been working on a farm just like I have. She's a craftsman. She's thin. She's got long, long hair, longer than any of us. Even longer, I'd say even longer than yours probably, Elaine. But it's blondish. But she's kind of thin, and I tell you that because she's an artist craftsman. I believe that's what you would call her, Violet. She's a craftsman for sure. She's also an artist. What she does for a living, that's what her job is now, and that's what she hopes to always do, is to make props and costumes for stage shows, operas, even movies, I suppose. But for the time being, she's hoping to get some work at the North Virginia Opera Company. But anyway, she has been and still is working in Dutch Corner at that farm, but she's also an apprentice to Marion as a blacksmith. She's learning blacksmithing from Marion, so go figure that out, because she's not very big and strong, but she's skilled. Matter of fact, she wants to be a blacksmith so bad that I gave her a present, a little bit like I don't know if we're exactly engaged, but we know we're each other's soulmates. Anyway, I gave her an anvil. That was my present to her, and she was delighted. It was like a 150-pound anvil because she wants to be a blacksmith. So I'm not sure what else there is to say about Morgan. Who's Marion? said Elaine. Marion? Oh, you don't know about Marion? Could that be? Marion's the best craftsman I think the world has ever seen. He lives in Dutch Corner. Nobody really knows where he came from. He's lived there for decades, and no one has ever figured out where he came from. The thing about Marion is he doesn't speak. He's never spoken or written a word. He understands, but when it comes to speaking, he just uses his hands. That's the kind of craftsman he is. I don't mean sign language. I don't mean that kind of thing. I mean what he does with his hands is his form of expression. We call him Marion because that's the name that Wedge came up with. When he didn't speak at all, and Wedge figured out what a great craftsman he was, he decided he was going to call him Marion, after some Finnish epic, Kalevala or something like that. There was some character named Ilmarinen, and so Wedge said, well, okay, Elmer, Marion, Finn, because it's a Finnish epic. So ever since that, we've called him Marion. He has a daughter he married but he's never spoken. And I mean, Dutch Corner's got some strange characters in it. But anyway, that's Marion, and he's been teaching her blacksmithing. Strange names you guys come up with, said Violet. Morgan. Now that could be Morgan Le Fay. And Lance said, I've heard that before. Somebody else said about that. Morgan, as in Morgan Le Fay. And Morgan's ready for that. She says, no, as in Morgan the horse. She's named after a horse. She said, not Morgan Le Fay. Who's Morgan Le Fay? And Violet said, oh, well, you wouldn't want to be named after her because she was a witch. She was a witch sister of King Arthur. Do you know the King Arthur legends? And Lance said, no, not really. Yeah, she was pretty evil. So you wouldn't want to be named after Morgan Le Fay, but no problem. She's named after Morgan the horse. Good kind of horse, strong, can carry people, but can pull a load. Good kind of horse. And Lance said, yeah, she knew that. She knew about that. And let's see. Then they got going on names, and that kind of gave him a bit of a break.